Periscope feed will be up in just a second and we will get going. Thank you guys for joining me today. Unafraid, right or wrong. We got a couple great things on tap for you guys today. First of which is the NFL. I want to talk to you about why the NFL is failing. You guys, please make sure you like the feed, share the feed so we can continue the conversation. It's a real conversation today, and I hope you're ready for it because, yes, NFL ratings are down despite viewership over the whole entire NFL product up. Viewership is down, and we will talk of individual games, and we will talk about why that is. The other thing we have on deck today is the Unafraid college football top 10, and that the NFL is wanting a unity month. The NFL players, they want a unity month. But yeah, so thank you guys for joining me. We will get started. Please share the feed so we can continue the conversation. So first of which, like I said, the NFL is headed for disaster. And there was somebody who forecasted this a while ago and nobody expected it. Nobody thought that this man was true. They thought he was crazy. They thought he was a buffoon, a moron. But this dude's a billionaire. That's Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban was 100% right about what he said about the NFL. In 2014, right? Mark Cuban said that the NFL was headed for disaster because they got greedy. They said pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. When you try to make it too far, when you take it too far, people turn the other way. I'm just telling you, when you've got a good thing, you get greedy. It always, always, always turns on you. That's rule number one of business. And I will tell you this. It is, people are not, the ratings aren't down or even noticeable because of Colin Kaepernick, whether you agree, whether you feel like, you know, the protests are inappropriate for sports. So there may be some element of people who tune out because of that, right? But then you also have to account for that there is the possibility that people are tuning out because they're in support of Colin Kaepernick, right? So those two people probably, categories of people probably wash out and, you know, and cancel each other out. But here's the part that we're not thinking about and we're not talking about. Let's talk about oversaturation, because the NFL is oversaturating us with product. They've taken over. They already own Sunday. They've taken over Monday nights, Thursday nights, and then when the playoffs, they want you Saturdays as well. Because the reality is this, right? If you are a person, like I'm married, I got 4 kids, all this, right? There's only so much free time and the time that you can actually demand for yourself to not only watch football, but just do things that you really want to do. Because I have a kid who plays travel baseball. My other son plays football. Daughter plays tennis. My other daughter does gymnastics and dances, right? So I'm just like so many of you people. And when we get to talking about football, here is one thing that happens. So I've already, because of work / my love, part of my weekends are dedicated to football. I love college football. College football never lets me down with bad games. Even though sometimes I don't like the schedule, they don't let me down because I'm always entertained and always intrigued, right? On some level. See, pro football, the fact that they want Thursday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah, and then some Saturdays too. Here's the thing that you're missing. Is that if you are a person who has kids, has a wife, has a family, right? There's going to be some point that your wife wants you to participate in the honey-do list, right? That list of, you know, you got to clean out the gutters. You got to fix the pipe, fix the door. Come spend time, date night, something like that. Kid needs help with homework. Dad got to go to the store. All of that, right? And you can't put that off on Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. Like, you can't do that. So you got to make choices, because at some point in time, you're going to try to catch a little bit of that Thursday night game just to see if it's interesting. And then when Saturday comes, you're all in on college football. And then on Sunday, wife's going to say, well, you know, honey, you've been watching football all day Saturday, all day Thursday, all day Saturday. You got to give me something this weekend because I need those pool toys picked up in the back. I need the doorknob fixed. I need the oven's not working right. Something's going on, right? So you have something that you need to do, and you cannot commit that much time to football. Now, that is the truth. That's why NFL ratings are down. And then the second reason why NFL ratings are down is because of millennials or people just in general are doing other things with their time. They're out eating avocado toast. They're out hiking. They are getting more busy trying to be quote unquote well-rounded people, right? That is the reality of it, is that people are trying to get out. Oh, like let's do this. Let's find other interests, all this. That's why football is suffering. And then also, right, with so many days of football, how much, like interest can you garner with your friends and participation with their time? Now, this is a true question. You guys, thank you for joining me on Unafraid. Right or wrong, please like the feed, share the feed so we can continue the conversation. Want to see your comments as well. So are you guys going to invite friends over on Thursday night to watch football? Yeah, no, San Francisco and the Rams are playing tonight. That's why you're not going to do it. And the NFL is headed for disaster with this. I'm telling you, because there comes a point where you oversaturate a market. Look at what Chick-fil-A has done. Right? Chick-fil-A is a perfect example and a perfect model for what you see with the NFL. So Chick-fil-A, everybody knows they're not open on Sundays. When you go to the Falcons just opened up a new stadium. And in the Falcons' new stadium, there is a Chick-fil-A. Is Chick-fil-A open on Sundays? Nope. People said, oh, Chick-fil-A is going to lose money. This is an opportunity for them to make money. Why the hell would they be closed on Sunday? I will give you the perfect reason why Chick-fil-A continues to thrive despite not being open on a weekend day. The reason why Chick-fil-A continues to thrive and the NFL is hurting its product is oversaturation. Chick-fil-A, how many people have tried to go to Chick-fil-A on a Sunday? A lot, right? And they are closed. But what do? When you can get there on Saturday, when you can get there on Monday through Saturday, what do? You get there because you know that they're closed on Sunday. It creates a higher demand for your product. And the reason why the NFL and total viewership is up on the NFL, total viewership is up, is because they have increased platforms for you to watch their game. They just signed a deal with China, with a company in China for them to stream their games in China. It's called Tencent. There is no, like the idea that the reason why the NFL is suffering is because of a boycott is it is absolutely nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Because first of all, that J.D. Power poll that everybody keeps citing, saying that the 100 people that were polled, 12% said that they stopped watching more NFL football. In that same poll, 23 or 26% of people said that they watched more football. So you can't judge by that. And then also with the Kaepernick thing, people are saying, oh, this is pushback on the NFL for the NFL disrespecting the troops and all this. The reality is this, is that if you are going to account for people on the side of people not watching because the NFL is quote unquote disrespecting the troops, you have to include the people who are saying that they're not going to watch because they're protesting because Kaepernick does not have a job. You have to include those people as well, because that could be a possibility, right? But that's not where it's at. It is quality of these games and oversaturation. Just when you look at the ratings from the evening game last week, think about this. You had the Falcons and the Packers playing. I mean, these are two name brand teams. You got the team that went to the Super Bowl, famously lost the Super Bowl, and you have Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. So that's a huge matchup. The ratings were 20 million. Mind you, that is nothing to scoff at, nothing to turn your head up about. But week 2 last year, 22 million people watched. Do you know why there was only 20 million people watching? Because it was a blowout. That's the truth. That is the truth. And then when we get to talking about the NFL, we get to talk about the players, right? We get to talking about the players. They're taking knees. They're doing this, doing that. But hasn't the NFL actually created this problem to begin with? I mean, think about this. Haven't they created this own problem for themselves when they started well, they aren't the only league, but other leagues did it as well. But the NFL is taking the most money from the military and the government to actually have patriotic signs and to honor troops. So all this Veterans Day gear and all this stuff, this was not done out of the kindness and goodness of the NFL's heart. This was about money. That's what this really was about. And I'm going to tell you how the NFL can fix its problem. The NFL can fix its problem by two things. I know they don't want to do it because it would feel to them like it would retract some of their money and cut off some of their income sources. But no, it would not. The reality is that if the NFL took away those Thursday night games and just literally dominated Sunday and Monday night like they were, more people would tune in and more people would watch, because that leaves you more time for your family, more time for your wife, more time for your kids, because I have kids that are playing travel baseball, travel football, all this stuff. So there's less time for me to consume sports, even though that this is my job. So now imagine like a regular Joe Blow guy who goes to work. Think about that. Think about that. Regular Joe Blow guy that goes to work can't watch the NFL as much as he wants to because he has other things. So then it cuts down on his total viewership available time. That's the truth. That's why the NFL is failing. The next thing up, though, continuing with this NFL conversation, is you look at the players, right? The players are asking for a month in November for Unity Month of Players, Unity Month of the community. So they want an opportunity. At quote, "We would like November to serve as the month of unity for individuals, teams to engage and impact the community in their market." This is another way the NFL can win with consumers and with the players, because the players want to engage more in their community and the NFL wants to look really good, right? It's amazing and phenomenal to me when we consider professional athletes spoiled brats and all this stuff, when in reality these are people who are trying to not only try to earn a living, because you have a finite amount of time for you to do this. And then there's also the element of these people are good people trying to help the community. So the NFL can actually help itself so much. It already has breast cancer awareness month in October, has the whole entire month. There's the Veterans Day, military service weekend, and all that. So you get that. But if you make November the entire Unity month for the league, guess what you will do? You will do and win on the level that the NBA has. How good does Dwayne Wade, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, Steph Curry, all these guys look, James Harden, in these NBA Cares commercials? How good do they look? They look fantastic. They look like people who love the NFL. I'm sorry. They look like people who love the NBA. They look like people who love the community. They look like all these things, right? So that's where the NFL can win, just like the NBA has with the NBA Cares community commercials and the active stuff. I've been saying this for years, and now all of a sudden somebody wants to listen. It makes no sense. Like, why would you not try to paint your players in the best light possible? It's the same reason and the same way that that companies put out things in the community to have good PR. When you have things that have happened like Ezekiel Elliott, you have a legal case coming up, a legal fight coming up. Occasionally you have players arrested. You have fights with Tom Brady publicly and all that. Why not spend money on good PR instead of spending money trying to bash your players? Make them all look like superheroes. Make them all look like good people. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense because they are losing with these Thursday night games. They're losing. The product is bad. Players aren't rested. They don't get a chance to game plan. This is a complete failure for the NFL because the reality is there's only so much time in people's week. You can't watch football on Thursday, Sunday, and Monday and then try to squeeze a little bit of college in. Guess what? Every man would be divorced and every woman who loves football wouldn't get anything done. She might be divorced as well. Because that's the reality of the situation. You can't just think that you're going to keep stomping on people's time and there's going to be no pushback. And Mark Cuban called it. He said it from the beginning. The NFL was going to lose because they got fat. They got greedy. Trying to demand too much of people's times. That's just a fact. The next thing up is the Unafraid top 10. The Unafraid college football top 10. I will tell you this. There is nothing more. Like, I am tired. I am frustrated as a college football fan a lot of times with these polls. The thing that frustrates me about the polls is not just that they exist. The thing that frustrates me about the polls is that I can't figure out why they continuously, including the Football Playoff Committee, why they continuously rank teams high that have not won and have not proven anything. So that's why we came up with the Unafraid college football top 10 poll that will be released every single week. And first of which, my number 10 team is the Washington Cougars, the Washington State Cougars. And I know some people are going to be perplexed and wonder, oh, how do your rankings look so much different than the rest of the college football world? I'm going to tell you this. The reason why they look so much different than the regular college football world is because they are different from the regular college football world. Because at no point in time should you ever have teams that are ranked so highly that have not played anybody. And we get a lot of that. We get a lot of teams ranked highly that haven't played anybody. You look at a team like Washington, the Washington Huskies. They're ranked very highly. And guess what? They haven't played anybody. So guess what? When it comes to the Unafraid top 10, this is the poll for me and you, the real college football fans, the people who are tired of just seeing teams ranked highly because they have a good coach or a big program or a big name and aren't representative of what's actually happening on the field. Like when you see a team get blown out, like when you see LSU get blown out by Mississippi State. LSU falls in the polls 12 spots or so, but the biggest question in it is you're like, wait, hold up. How in the world does Mississippi State move up so far? Now that's the biggest question. Yes, they beat one team, but how good was LSU really? We literally know nothing about LSU because prior to that game, LSU beat BYU and Chattanooga. How the hell can you properly rank teams when they haven't played anybody? So here's the Unafraid top 10. I posted it on my Twitter. You can see it for yourself. You're welcome to send in your questions, comments, or whatever you want to do about the Unafraid poll. I will tell you this. I got Washington State at number 10 because they're playing good football. Their quarterback, Luke Falk, is the real deal. He could potentially win the Pac-12 because when you look at the Pac-12 North, what do you got? The best team there, Stanford's not in it. You got Washington, you got Oregon, and you got Washington State. Those are the four best teams. Those are the three best teams in the Pac-12 North. And Washington State could very well win that. And then in a one game against the South, yeah. My number 9 team, I got the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Because not only did they play LSU, they dominated. And I watched Nick Fitzgerald, and the kid is good. The kid is really, really good. And anybody that thinks that they're going to walk over Alabama, no. That's not going to happen. And Alabama has to play them directly after they play LSU, which is a big emotional rivalry game and all that. Number 8, the Wisconsin Badgers. The Wisconsin Badgers play a brand of football that I hate watching. I'm going to tell you, it is boring at times, but they play good football. They play discipline, don't necessarily have a whole lot of turnover time. And they're always hovering around the top 10. So you have to give the Wisconsin Badgers props. And when you look at who they've played already, yeah. But the one question I will ask you about the Wisconsin Badgers is this. Doesn't it always seem like they're a nameless, faceless bunch, except for the running backs? I challenge you. Can anybody on this Periscope right now, I challenge you, name me 5 Wisconsin football players that are not running backs. I mean, historical. Give me 5 historical Wisconsin football players that aren't running backs. I bet you can't name them. Bet you can't. Because it's tough for me to do and not watch college football every day and study it every day. Number 7, the Penn State Nittany Lions. I love this team, and it's been documented. I've said it. I believe that they are one of the 2 teams that are going to win the national championship. Trace McSorley is Johnny Manziel all over again. He's fast. He's accurate. He makes plays. And the best thing about Trace McSorley is that when he is running around doing this thing, you can just see James Franklin, their head coach, going, no. Yes. Great job, Trace. Don't do that again. You scared me. Don't do that again. I mean, and then you add in Saquon Barkley, who's their running back, and the kid is tremendous. He might be the best player in college football. I got them at 7. Number 6, the other team that I have in the college football playoff and think can win it is Oklahoma State. Because Mason Rudolph is fantastic. The kid is fantastic. But I can't rank them any higher. I can't rank Penn State any higher, and I can't rank Oklahoma State any higher, despite the fact that I think that they are the 2 best teams in college football. Why? Because in the Unafraid poll, we do not rank people based upon potential. We rank people based upon what have you done already. So there's going to be big shakeups in the Unafraid poll every week because people do something every week. You might be in the poll one week. You might not be in the poll the next week. What has your resume said? I don't care about ugly wins. Wins are wins. Number 5, the Oklahoma Sooners. I got tweets about this today, and I thought it was hilarious. People are saying, oh, they have the best win in college football. How can we say that? We had no clue how good Ohio State was. I mean, truth be told, Ohio State has beat Indiana, and that's it. It beat Indiana, and it beat Army. That doesn't mean that Ohio State is good. So how on earth can I say that Oklahoma has the biggest name brand win, like in terms of over a team that people regarded as good because Urban Meyer's the coach. But when you look at Ohio State play, their offense is awful. You can blame it on JT Barrett. You can blame it on Urban Meyer. You can blame it on the coordinators. You can blame it on whoever you want to. But their offense looks like the Seattle Seahawks right now. Whole bunch of hype, not a lot of results. That's the truth with Ohio State right now. And that's why Oklahoma's sitting at number 5, because only God knows how good Oklahoma is. Next up, the Michigan Wolverines at 4. The Michigan Wolverines being at 4 should show everybody that watches this and that reads the Unafraid poll that the Unafraid poll is not biased. Because if you read anything that I've written, you read anything that I've said, what will you see what I've said about Michigan? That Michigan is the second most overrated team this year. I've been consistent in my message about that. So that lets you know that the Unafraid poll is real. Because Michigan their body of work this year, when you look at the teams that they've played, Florida, yeah, I know that they were beat up and all that. And I don't love Michigan's quarterback play with Spieth, but they beat Florida, who's clearly, because they beat Tennessee, and their defense is really good. They picked off Michigan twice for pick sixes. Florida, they're a decent team. I don't think they're a top 25 team, but they're a decent team. Like, that's a quality opponent that you could lose to. Air Force. Air Force is a difficult cover. I actually did an Air Force game this year already. Air Force is not to be played with, and that triple option is not a thing that you can play around with because they can beat you. And then they've also played Cincinnati, who's a respectable American Conference team as well. So they haven't played any FCS teams. They've actually played competition that can beat them 3 times. So that's why Michigan is sitting at number 4, despite the fact that I believe that Michigan is overrated. But not overrated in the same sense of, oh, they suck. Oh, they really suck overrated. No, overrated in the sense of they're just not a national championship contender like they're made out to be right now. Next year, whole different story. Number 3, here's where people are starting to get upset. Besides the Oklahoma thing, people are upset with Alabama being ranked number 3. When you looked at that Florida State game, the thing I noticed the most is that Florida State fell into the same trap that everybody else that play. Well, not everybody, but everybody that loses to Alabama falls into. They get into this run and punt football, trying not to make mistakes. They're like, oh, we're not gonna do anything to make a mistake, and we're just gonna grind it out and play Alabama football. No, you have to do what you do. That's why Clemson can beat them. That's why Johnny Manziel's Texas A&M beat them. That's why Oklahoma State. That's why Mississippi beat them. Ole Miss beat them when they had Chad Kelly. They just aired it out, played their game. Don't try to fall into Alabama's game. And Alabama's offense with Jalen Hurts at quarterback is awful. It's just not good. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just not good. The kid can't throw the ball at the level that you need to be a successful college quarterback. It's the truth. So if somebody can find a way to stop their running game, which can be done if you load up the box, guess what? You can beat Alabama. And the reason why Alabama's ranked so high right now is because I do give them a little bit of credit for the Florida State win. And I also give them credit for scheduling Colorado State, because I am critical of SEC schedules a lot of time. Colorado State is a good non-Power 5 schedule. It is. You could lose if you play awful. That's the truth. Number 2, USC. Oh my God, people are upset about USC being at number 2. I don't even like USC. Like, let's just put that out in front. That's how you know that the Unafraid poll is real and not no BS. Got USC at 2 because there's the first 3 games of their schedule. Find me a team that's played a better, besides the number 1 team, that's played a better 3 games on their schedule. Find one for me. You can't. They played Western Michigan, which won 12 games last year. They played a conference opponent in Stanford, which we don't really know how good Stanford is. I'll give you that. But the reality is that they're still a conference opponent and they could beat you. And then they played Texas, which is a rivalry game. I mean, this was played up so big about the Matt Leinart, about the team that was supposed to be the greatest football team ever that was beaten by Texas and Vince Young. And Texas came out and gave them everything that they had. And that's what happens. I mean, the Trojans this year are like the Bulls or the Warriors or the Cavs or whatever. They're going to get everybody's best punch every night. That's just the truth. They got Texas's best punch. They got Western Michigan's best punch, Stanford's best punch, and they faded them all. I don't care if you win ugly. As long as you keep racking up W's, you will be fine in the Unafraid poll. The first team this week in the poll, though, is the Clemson Tigers. Through 3 weeks, they played the toughest schedule in the nation. They played 2 Power 5 teams, one of them in conference and one outside of conference, and they were both ranked. They're still top 20 football teams. They may not be top 10 football teams, but they're top 20 in Louisville and Auburn. One of them has the Heisman Trophy, the reigning Heisman Trophy Award winner, and Auburn's has quality athletes. And Clemson dominated in both of those games. Like Auburn, even though it was only 14-6, Auburn did not have a chance to win that game. Like you knew that Clemson was going to win that game. That 8 points felt like a million. So there's no debate whether Clemson is the best team in the nation right now. I just don't see any room for debate of that. The last thing, though, that we have up today is we're creating a segment called Hump Day, right? A segment called Hump Day. And the Hump Day segment is where we're going to feature a guy on Wednesdays, right? Hump Day is Wednesday, so on Wednesdays we're going to feature the Hump Day feature. So I'm going to, after we get off right now, we're coming right back on with the Hump Day feature that you guys can look at, and we'll figure out whether we're going to put it at the end or we're going to put it in the beginning. Today I'm going to put it at the end, and then I'm going to repost as well. But the Hump Day is where we feature a dude who's dope, who's a gritty, hard-working guy, does his thing. Andre Ward, he decided to retire today. And I will tell you this, of the last 25 years, Andre Ward is one of the 3 best fighters of the last 25 years. Yes, it is. I'm going to give you Floyd Mayweather 1. I'm going to give you Bernard Hopkins 2. And I'm going to give you Andre Ward 3. Andre Ward 3. Yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm not including like the Lennox Lewis's, the Mike Tysons, all those guys. So we're going to go to the last 20 years. Not including those guys. He not only, when people doubted him, won the Super 6. He wiped out the division. And he's a quality person and individual. He's our Hump Day shout out today, Andre Ward. Thank you guys for joining me today. Unafraid, right or wrong, please like the feed, share the feed, continue the conversation. And we will see you guys later. See you guys tomorrow.